you want to know how long to make your trailer, the answer is always as short as possible. If you have a lot of points to make or you have a big story to tell, that's fine, just make sure you do it quickly. If you're a huge franchise like Metal Gear, you can get away with making a super long trailer every now and then, but a lot of trailers get skipped because they don't follow the simple lesson. Don't waste our time.
As a developer, you want to make sure your intended audience really understands your game, so it can be tempting to stretch out a trailer's running time and hold certain moments for a while. Unfortunately, the attention span of the average Earthling is getting shorter and shorter, so second by second, you need to ask yourself what your trailer's doing to maintain someone's interest. The third trailer for Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots, shown first at E3 2006, made a lot of fans happy by running for 15 minutes. But it also could have been shortened in a lot of places. For those that haven't finished MGS4, we'll be getting into top-secret spoiler territory, so proceed with caution. MGS4 was announced at E3 in 2005 with a trailer that borrowed design elements from MGS2 and 3 instead of showing character models from the new game. At the Tokyo Game Show, we saw the sequel's game engine running for the first time, and reacquainted ourselves with Solid Snake, now Old Snake, and his partner Hal Emmerich, aka Otacon. A part of this trailer ended up in the final game, but the beginning of the TGS trailer was created just to mess with MGS fans. The E3 2006 trailer gave us a much clearer picture of what the game would be, even though some scenes were very different here than how they ended up. We begin with Snake, presumably during his deployment in the Middle East, resting between battles. We're then shown footage from the previous TGS trailer while we hear Snake and Colonel Roy Campbell discussing private military companies. Showing old footage is an easy way to bring the energy in a trailer way down. We already know most of what they're saying from observations Snake already made in the TGS trailer. So once we come out of the Kojima Productions logo and are shown our second shot of new footage, the trailer has already been running for a minute and a half. Fans should be trusted to remember information like this, so we don't have to revisit it in later videos. Don't waste time referencing old trailers. Let us look them up on our own later on. The trailer really begins the same way the final game does, following Snake on the back of a truck being transported to a combat zone with soldiers from the local military, somewhere in the Middle East. Snake's monologue here is almost identical to the one delivered in MGS4, except the Japanese voice of Snake, Akio Otsuka, was later replaced in the US by David Hayter. Many of the lines from the E3 2006 trailer were altered slightly in the final game, suggesting that key members of the Japanese voice cast were recorded early from an unfinished script. Campbell begins speaking 20 seconds later, the first of several times we're shown the words, Guns of the Patriots. In this 20-second absence of dialogue, before Campbell continues speaking, all we're watching is soldiers killing each other. If this were anything other than Metal Gear, viewers would have already moved on to another trailer. We've seen both sides of the opposition in this fight already. There's no need to follow them further into the city. Kojima could be commenting on the repetitive and possibly mundane nature of war if you step back far enough, but Snake had just been talking about that for 2.5 minutes. After Campbell's statement, we hear from Liquid Ocelot and watch a rampaging gecko, or lizard mech, trample a dozen soldiers. The first time we hear from nanomachine expert Naomi Hunter, we see Old Snake in a cemetery that fans of MGS3 recognized from the ending of Snake Eater. Old Snake is soon visited via helicopter by Otacon and Colonel Campbell, and the dialogue exchanged is similar to the same scene near the beginning of MGS4. There are differences, however, which suggests that this scene went through rewrites before it was finished, or it represents changes made when translating the script from Japanese to English. When we return to the Middle East, Snake is traveling on foot through the city, and we hear him speak to Naomi about his advanced aging. She drops the bomb that he only has 6 months left to live. Snake stops for a quick smoke, but is soon spotted by one and then 2 geckos, who attempt to corner him on the 2nd floor of the building. Snake uses his octo camo to blend in, and the mechs march right past him. The chase is just over 3 minutes long, the length of your average trailer on its own. Since there's no dialogue in this scene, it plays out exactly the same way in the final game. Both the trailer and the game even reveal the title Metal Gear Solid 4 in the same spot. We learn from the sequence that geckos have thin tendrils that they can use to ensnare their victims and pick up objects, and that octo camo can help Snake disappear in a pinch, but we certainly don't need 3 minutes to show it. It's an awesome fight, but seeing it in its entirety spoils the game more than necessary. Following the skirmish, somewhere else in the Middle East, Snake sits alone. We hear a line from Otacon that he delivers in a mission briefing several hours into MGS4.
Enough is enough, Snake. You can't take any more of this.
I'm not dead yet.
That's not what I mean. You can't beat Liquid.
While the line is familiar, Snake never stops to take a breather at this spot. Kojima and company then introduce us to the major players in Guns of the Patriots, characters Metal Gear fans hadn't seen in 5 years, despite having heard each of them speak several times in the trailer already. The first is Naomi Hunter. We see her, like Snake, in an area they don't visit anywhere in the final game. Her dialogue is a bit spoilery as she eventually utters it in a scene very far into the plot of MGS4.
We must not pass them on to the next generation. We must not leave them for the future. That is your true fate.
Next, Colonel Campbell makes a desperate plea for Old Snake to stop his biological brother, Liquid. It appears to be from the helicopter scene earlier, but this exact dialogue did not make its way into the final version of MGS4. We sneak up on Meryl Silverberg, perhaps teasing the way that Snake bumps into her Rat Patrol Team 01 in the final game. In MGS4, Snake asks her about the Patriots, but because he's being controlled by their nanomachines, he's only able to utter their codename, Lalelulelo, thus explaining her line in the trailer that's taken out of context.
And the Patriots are behind this.
Lalelulelo? What are you talking about?
Never mind.
Out of all the faces we met during this trailer in 2006, Meryl's received the most work between then and MGS4's release in 2008. However, the room she's standing in does seem to be the same in both the trailer and the game. Otacon then confesses to Old Snake that this might be their final mission together. While he appears in the helicopter we see him in earlier in the trailer, Otacon and Snake find themselves in very different circumstances when this line is eventually spoken during the real mission.
Let's finish it, Snake. Let this be our last battle. If we're responsible for Liquid's sins, then the onus is ours to bear.
Right.
When we finally meet Liquid Snake face to face, he's standing in the spot where we encounter him in the final game, but the lines he reads here to Snake never appear in MGS4.
Brother! It's been too long.
We return to Snake sitting alone. In the greatest tease of all, it appears as if Snake finishes his tour of duty with a self-inflicted bullet. In MGS4, Snake has this conversation with himself in the cemetery we saw earlier. He chooses to end his life in a business suit instead of an octo-camo suit, on his knees instead of sitting down. These character vignettes are appropriate and give us some welcome insight into the crisscrossing storylines at work in Guns of the Patriots. Some of these lines allude to secrets the trailer teases but doesn't come close to revealing. But each of these introductions could have been quicker. We don't need to pause and see their names individually. In the final game, each character is given a similar introduction, but their names are shown on screen, so we don't have to cut away. After Snake threatens his own life, it would seem like the trailer is over, but since Kojima loves to keep his viewers guessing, we instead cut to an unidentified swordsman who takes on a gang of geckos by himself. It is later revealed to be Raiden. This 2-minute fight, along with the line of dialogue that concludes it, plays out almost exactly like it does in MGS4. I'm not going to tell you that this ending sequence goes on for too long, because it's absolutely amazing, but like the scene where Snake slips past a pair of geckos earlier, it spoils more than it has to. Some of the most creative moments in Guns of the Patriots occur when Kojima Productions tries to cross multiple perspectives, letting you be in several places at once. With the team proving themselves capable of this type of expedient storytelling, it does seem less effective for MGS4 to just copy a scene from the game and paste it directly into one of its trailers. It helps when you can pull off the acrobatic insanity of this trailer, otherwise it's hard to justify pushing any video's running time to 15 minutes to show us something we'll be revisiting in the final game in its entirety. Do something to the sequence that'll make it unique to the trailer. Make us remember this trailer for something other than just the visual benchmark they set in 2006 versus the real deal in 2008. When Snake has a quick smoke after evading the geckos in the final game, we cut to a close-up of his face as he exhales, unlike the long wide shot we see in the trailer. A small change, but it's something. Let's make one thing clear. The E3 2006 trailer for Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots is spectacular. It's one of the most thrilling memories of the game's advertising campaign, and it still can have an impact 8 years later. The music is soulful and haunting, each character is given an introduction worthy of their legacy, it features two of the best action cutscenes in the game, and Raiden's reveal is just the kind of cheer-inducing craziness you should bring to E3 every year. But if you're watching this video, chances are you're not Hideo Kojima. Just because he can get away with making a trailer this long doesn't mean the majority of trailer producers in this industry should follow his example. Always look for ways to make your trailers shorter. In my opinion, there are at least 3 minutes full of moments in this trailer that are unnecessary. Not lines of dialogue or character reveals, but the silent bits in between that can really add up. Be respectful of people's precious trailer watching time. Don't do something you'll regret later, like joking that a game was going to come out 2 years later, when it actually did.
If you're a huge fan of a particular franchise, and that franchise announces it's going to release a 15-minute trailer, you're going to be excited no matter what. So this advice is mostly for the games that you don't know about, that are going to shoot themselves in the foot if they release a trailer that's twice as long as it needs to be. Remember, shorter is always better. If you have a lot to talk about, then make another trailer. Other trailers that don't know when to quit include the launch trailer for Castlevania Lords of Shadow, the revealed trailer for Far Cry 3, the TGS 2009 trailer for Final Fantasy XIII, and the Nintendo Direct trailer for Kingdom Hearts 3D Dream Drop Distance. MGS fans can dispute all of this nonsense on the comments on GT or on my Twitter page at GameTrailersVO. See you next time.